Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Swans Cast podcast. I'm joined this week by Lee and Alid, so welcome back, lads.
Hello.
Hello.
Sound very upbeat, very happy about the recent goings on as a Swans fan.
It's been a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football is back, unfortunately.
Definition of good is very differently.
Yeah.
Well, other than football, what have you been up to then? How's your week been?
It's too hot. I'm absolutely struggling. And Emil somehow got a cold in a heat wave.
Well, yeah, I'm sure everyone can hear you're suffering right now, and we'll wish you a speedy recovery on whatever illness has befallen you.
I think it's
Alid?
chronic hay fever.
Well, that's a bit unlucky, I
No,
guess.
I agree with Lee. It's too hot.
You've been gallivanting, haven't you?
Yeah. Although as soon as it goes cold, we'll complain it's too cold. So.
No, I'm quite happy in the winter, to be honest.
I like the winter, definitely.
Yeah, I'm quite happy sitting here in more layers rather than not being able to take anything else off.
I mean,
always have this argument with people. They say, like, would you rather the winter or the summer? Winter 100 times.
I've got my PC to heat my room, so I guess, yeah.
I'm quite happy having my dose of sun when I go on holiday, where I can just do nothing and chill. And then when I come back, it can cool down a bit again. You know, it shouldn't be like abroad temperatures in the UK. I don't like it.
It's just the inconsistency of it. It's just it does my head in. I don't mind having a tidy summer because I won't want to have like winter all the time. But it's like we're raining last week and now it's a heat wave and then it'll be like
I haven't rained for ages of it. They're on about droughts and like there's no water left in the UK, which is crazy.
Yeah, droughts because I'm sure we won't get any more rain.
Yeah, but we obviously will get the water back. It's just like the reservoirs are empty, aren't they?
Yeah,
the one I passed was really low.
No, yeah, it is a thing. It's a legit concern. Like we have record temperatures this year, but 20 degrees in the summer, I'm happy. Consistent 20, 22, whatever. But do need to go higher than that in the UK.
It's a sign of how bad the football is when we're talking about the weather.
Yeah, well, let's get to the football. But before we do, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 500, and when we do, we're going to give away one of the kits. Probably actually just choose whoever wins can choose which one they want. But we're going to do a giveaway of 500, so help us get there by clicking the big red button down the bottom of the screen, down there somewhere, below Alid. And yeah, help us grow to 500. Also, like the video if you enjoy what we're talking about, and let us know in the comments if you agree with what we're saying, or give us your views on what's gone on so far this season for the Swans under Russell Martin. Do you think it's the time to go yet, or are we jumping too soon maybe? Because obviously there's been a lot more online, so let us know in the comments.
Speaking of the kits, before we get on to it, I was convinced that the orange kit was nice, and now that I've actually seen it in the flesh, I think it's awful. It's really important to go to the shop and see them in person.
Take.
I think it's awful. In the pictures, I thought I'm definitely getting the orange one, and now I went to the shop and seen it in person, so it looks awful.
Is it that bad?
It's just, I don't know. I think it's because the old Gulfoil kit was quite nice. I think it was because the orange wasn't so bright, and it's like bright orange, and the blue is bright blue. It just looks like really cheap. I think
it doesn't look. It looks like a.
But it seems to be
dark.
It seems to have sold quite well.
I was going to say it seems to be the most popular one because literally everybody was wearing them.
Is it as bright as the first Premier League away kit we had?
Yeah, it is like that. It is that bright, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With
I've
bright
got
blue.
that somewhere, and I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't know how I've got it.
I had to get it. It was the first one we went up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got the home and away one in the first year.
But the black one in person, I think, is the one. I think it's really nice. Yeah. Wasn't that fussed on it in the pictures, and I think that one's the nicest one.
It always seems.
Don't know why I remember that, but
even the dark purple one was nice the other couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Well, let's make a start then. We're going to kind of change the format. We're going to, obviously, I guess in the past, we've always gone through the games, and we're still going to talk about the games and the key points, but rather than going through it minute by minute or like looking at the timeline of what happens, We're going to approach it on a weekly basis. If it's 1 game or 2 games, it depends how it falls, and do like a 3-word review of the game or of the week, and then discuss in detail how you got to that conclusion, I guess. So whatever you're saying is like, why are you saying that? And then we'll talk about some of the key points in between. So Lee, we'll go first with yours. I know you've got a lot to say this week. So what is your 3-word week review?
Okay. 3 words are excuses, worried, and who with a question mark.
Before we get into why he's saying this, you can let us know your 3-word week reviews in the comments if you like, if you want to get involved in future videos, and maybe we can discuss some of those as well in the next couple of videos. But why are you going for that then, Lee? Like what's
where should we start?
Yeah.
Right. I'll start off with why I'm worried. Because I remember the end of the season, the end of last season when we were doing our end of season review and the last couple of games, I just said we needed to see progress. I know we didn't have a pre-season. I know he drummed that into us all year. Oh, we didn't have pre-season, and Flynn Downs was coming out. Oh, if we have a pre-season, it's going to be scary and all this.
Who's Flynn Downs?
But that was what was drilled into us all last year. We didn't see any improvement, I don't think. There was a little spell in the middle where we were good. The end of the season was awful. And I am worried because he's so stubborn with the way he plays, the game. His game management is awful. Nothing has changed there. Lou throwing away leads. I know we'll come on to the Oxford game, and it was a young team and whatever. But our ability to throw away leads now is a bit scary, and it's become like an actual problem because it's not just 1 or 2 times now; it's happening a lot. And I said his game management worries me because, like Saturday, we have the ability now to go into a game where I think we might win this game, but we could also lose 5-0.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be like that because like the Blackburn game, we're 2-0 up, and he doesn't change the way you play. Oh, we don't have to change the way we play. Well, you do because you're 2-0 down at home, and it's not working.
Do you want to talk about anything specific from the Blackburn game?
Yeah, I just think it was so flat. Like the way they move the ball. Like fair enough. It just seems to me like, and this is, I'm not saying like get rid of him or anything. But I am worried that we said he hasn't got a lot of time this season based on what he's been saying. Obviously, last season, give me a pre-season. I've had all year to work with these players now. Yeah, I don't think he's got long to show improvement. Yeah. And from what I've seen in the first couple of games, we haven't gone anywhere from last season, especially with the way we move the ball. I just think sometimes we move the ball and have possession for the sake of it, just to have 80% possession and wait for an opening. But there's a template to play against us now, and it works 9 times out of 10. Blackburn did it perfectly. You sit back, and we are waiting for them to crack in defence, but teams are so well organised now. We're just passing for the sake of having the ball. And when you complete 50 passes, it's more likely that you'll have a pass go array than a defensive unit come out of shape. And that's what's happening. Like, obviously, Fulton made the mistake for the first goal, and that's more likely to happen than a defence to get like disjointed because it's so easy.
Yeah, no, I think you've hit a couple of good points there, and I do think 2 games, like, I don't want to have this come out the wrong way. I think we can't necessarily jump to a decision like a lot of people are saying Martin out now after 2 games.
No.
Because if you do jump to that now, it's like when you just gave him all this money to spend on all these players, and now you just 2 games in, you're going to like change. I mean,
no, I don't.
You either decide you're going to give him the chance or you're not. So we've got to give him the chance. But as with you, I kind of defended him all year last year, saying like he needs the pre-season. The fitness thing's a problem. The players, they're not fully there for his style yet. He needs a couple more before he can start implementing it properly. But it's not been a good start, and it's not even just been a bad start. Like like the results wise, there's a lot of other signs there that are not good, and as like even his press conferences in a way, I think,
yeah.
And I think, don't maybe jump to the questions of should he go yet. But I think the stage that we're at now is now there's pressure. Now he's got pressure on him. Whereas like even start of the season, perhaps it wasn't pressure. It was just like start of the season. All of a sudden, he's 3 games in, and it's like, right, no, he's got to start showing in the next 2 or 3 games that something as like there is a little bit of progress, that we are going in a direction.
Yeah.
You can give him the benefit of the doubt and say some of the new signings are still gelling in, and they are in the areas that we had the issues, which is defense. So we had defensive issues, needed new personnel. They're gelling in, but that doesn't really solve the other end of the pitch, which is scoring, which you could argue last year we were doing more than what we have now. Like Pirou hasn't really had much of a sniff as he can't get him in the game. Did a little bit better with it perhaps against Oxford, but then you'd expect that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, and I'm not saying to get rid of him, because that's why I put one of my words was who. I think there's no one really out there now that you could come in and replace him. And I think it's ridiculous to call for his head now. But that's why I just put worried, because we came into the season with so much hope with everything that was said. And the first couple of games have arguably been worse than last year.
Yeah.
Now, it could turn around. Maybe we go to Blackburn and win Saturday, and then all of a sudden things look better. But like you said, and that's why I put worried, I haven't seen those signs yet. I haven't seen anything that says it is going to get better. And you touched on the press conference. His post-match interview last night against Oxford, I thought it was awful.
Did you watch it in the end?
Yeah, it was terrible. He basically threw all the young players under the bus. Oh, they were awful. They were terrible. Oh, basically saying they weren't ready to play, basically. Well, why are you putting them on the pitch then?
Do you think I thought he was also referring to maybe in Cham?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And, one or two of the others, but it wasn't great.
I don't know. He threw all the players under the bus. Not once yesterday did he say, like, I made a mistake. He said, the substitutes were planned, so we went with it. Okay, well, your plan didn't work then. Not once did he hold his hand up. And I just thought the body language is a bit off as well.
Sometimes
normally he's quite upbeat.
Sometimes the plan changes. Like, you're 2-0 up, just make sure you win. They were starting to come into the game a bit more at that point. They were always going to have a spell after half-time being 2-0 down where they were going to come at us. We had to weather that. I don't think you make 4 substitutes where you take off your 4 most experienced players in that moment.
No, I agree.
So, yeah, game management. What was the last word? Was it game management?
No, it was excuses.
All right, yeah, and I guess that's referring to...
Yeah, kind of like that, but also the other one was a lot of people every time we have a bad run of results, everybody refers to the owners. He's not being backed. Russell Martin's not being backed, and he's backing. I think he's been backed as much as any other manager in the Championship. I was looking through the transfers again earlier. Nobody spent money. Nobody's buying tons of players. I know, I think everybody gets twitchy because Cardiff brought a lot of bodies in, but that's because they lost so many players because their contracts were up.
Yeah, and they
on
were
high wages.
Transfer.
Yeah, exactly. They're all free transfer. I think that's why people get twitchy. But if you think about the signings that Martin's made, who's come in since he's taken over? You've got he's brought in Fisher. That was his signing from MK Dons. He's brought in Soranola. That's his signing. Darlin is his signing. He wanted those players. So if Patterson is his signing, and also he was given Obafemi and Perot. He signed Joe Allen in replacement for Downs. Fair enough. But I don't think he hasn't been backed. I think he's got the players there. And Cham has come in since he's been there. I think he's got players. I think he's been given players to work with. And players that he wanted to work with.
He had a lot of bodies in through the door in his 3 windows. Obviously, the first one's half. I think I agree with you. He's been backed just as much as anyone. He's probably been backed as much as Cooper was backed. Ultimately, and comparing it to Cardiff again, if he decides to spend the fee on Darlin and Wood, if Wood was a fee, I can't remember.
Oh, Wood as well, yeah.
But most of the fee went on Darlin in this window. He decided to spend the fee on Darlin. Cardiff decided to spend their money on a bunch of free transfers. That's just what. So that's gone in wages directly rather than a transfer fee.
Yeah, that's what
that's the difference. And I'm not saying either way is better. It's obviously could be just as hard to bed 15 new players in, which is what they're trying to do. But they're trying to change their complete philosophy to stop playing hoofball. That's what they're doing this season. So just don't it's not a comparable situation.
Yeah.
I think Martin he's strengthened in defence primarily, which is what he wanted to do as well. So again, back to what I said, maybe 2 games is too quick to. You might not see all the problems in defence sorted after 2 games, same as like the back pass thing in pre-season. There was obviously another back pass error against Oxford, but that came from one of the youngsters. I mean, a lot of people jump on Bender for that, though, which maybe we'll discuss that later. I'm not quite sure it's fully his fault personally, but actually, let's just discuss it now. Have you both seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What do you reckon, Ali? Have you seen it?
I can't really call. I just know it was a back pass, and then Bender comes up and he gets closed down, doesn't he?
Well, the back pass is not to Bender. That's why the back pass is
Yeah.
like ahead of him, so Bender's going to run onto it, but the guy's already in the process of closing it off. So, look, you can say Bender should do better where he's aiming, but he's put under unnecessary pressure for me in the first place. But then, it's from one of the youngsters making his debut. He's trying to play the way he's asked to play with a pass in football, and maybe that's a learning experience for him. But I guess that comes back to maybe not chucking him under the bus, like you said. I think it is the mistake. I can't remember. Is it Abdel Absalai or something? Is his name?
Okay, I can't remember who did the back pass.
Sorry, Azim Abdullah. I think I've said it right.
Yeah, I can't remember really.
I don't even know if he's a right back normally. I'm sure I was reading. Yeah, he usually plays in midfield. He's playing right wing back. On his debut, out of position. I have a bit of sympathy.
Yeah, I do think it was a poor back pass, but also I think Bender can go another direction. I think he has time to play it somewhere else rather than kick it at the.
Yeah, I think I'm not saying he's
exactly.
completely innocent, but nobody was questioning the pass was my issue.
Oh no.
And I think like that's just as much to blame because you are giving that question to the keeper and you're giving the opportunity to the attacker by the pass. Yeah, Bender should deal with it better, but it was a bit of a hospital ball. It still is a hospital ball, even if he didn't deal with it the best way.
Yeah.
But there we are. That wasn't like what lost us the game ultimately. I mean, they were coming at us. Alid, what's your 3 words if you got them?
I want to say the dominant losers and just group that as one thing. I mean, you can from that you can take.
You want to say what
I'm going at?
The dominant losers.
Losers, yeah.
Well, that is one. Yeah. That is 3 words.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
I know
so
it is.
Talking about
but I haven't done it the same way as Lee. Yeah, exactly. I've just grouped all 3 words into one because it's true.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to do it as 3 individual points. You can do it as like a little sentence.
Yeah. Well,
do you want to expand?
I mean, we've done 3 games. We've been at least 70% possession in every game. I don't know what's our overall shots in each game. I'm not sure.
They're not been
Blackburn,
special.
Rotherham and Oxford were 10 or over. Blackburn was 5. Oh, sorry, was 8. But I think there's also been a few. You mentioned Obafemi and Paroli.
Yeah.
And they've had some very good chances to net the ball quite a few times.
Obafemi definitely, and not.
Yeah, he missed that clear as day one against Rotherham, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he scores that and you win the first game against Rotherham 2-1, maybe the whole season has changed. You just don't know, do you?
No.
It's you get like momentum and confidence, I guess, is a big thing, and that's maybe where if he can turn something round, he can start showing there is progress. But that's what he's got to do now. Like it's got to happen. I think you've got to get a win at Blackpool.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Do you think it's a must-win already?
I think from maybe not from the perspective of the people who might sack him, but I think from the perspective of the atmosphere around the fans, keeping the fans on board, I think it is.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think there'll be an absolute complete meltdown if they lose on Saturday.
I've never seen so many people turned against him than I have this week.
It was the manner of the defeat though. I genuinely think the Blackburn game was one of the worst games I've seen us play under Martin. It was that bad. I think that's where the anger is stemming from. Because the Rotherham game, there wasn't any murmurs of like, oh, it's rubbish. It was kind of upbeat. It was, if Obafemi scored, we seemed to play well. Darling scored a good goal. It was none of that. But that first home game, it was that bad. I think that's where the anger's coming from. And then to lose in that manner on Tuesday, I think just pushed it up another level. Like I said, it's just like you're going in with a good bit of expectancy. First home game, sun was shining. We're going to play some lovely passing football, and it's tragic.
I can't remember exactly which goal it was. Maybe it was either the second or the third. Ryan Manning was the one that gave the ball away in a ridiculously stupid
Nothing
way.
new there.
I called him out.
I thought you might have spied that.
I said it at the start of this season. I think that's why he's been dropped for Sorinola. And it's when he's taken him his first start to do another one. You were there at the game, so remind me. I watched the highlights, but I've forgotten. So remind me what exactly.
I think it was the third goal, was it?
It might have been. That's what it was. One of them. It might have been the third.
I think it was the third goal. It was a bit of a loose pass, but
it was more than a loose pass. It was horrendous.
Yeah, but this is the point I'm getting to. It's just passing for passing's sake. If you're trying to make 100 passes but going nowhere, there's more chance of you messing up a pass, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But you are right. though. Manning has had a couple of them.
He's just doing it all the time.
Same last season, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people pointing out on Twitter now, actually, but I've seen it for a long time, and he's just done it again. So he had a good game.
Yeah, I will have to say as well that, like, I know we've sort of defended him quite a lot, but Fulton was good last night, but he was awful on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think he did it twice. I know they scored the first goal from his mistake, but he'd done it just before as well, where he gave away the ball, and they were through.
No, that's fair. He had a bad game. Yeah, I think he did it right against Rotherham as well. So hopefully,
he did. Yeah, he did.
But I think he did all right up for it last night. He scored a free kick. So a lot of people pointing out how long it's taken Mac Grimes to score a free kick, and Fulton
technically a Fulton top bins.
Well, it was bottom bins, but we're trying to sell it as top bins. It was a nice free kick, to be fair. And he was just. It showed how instrumental he was yesterday after he got subbed off. Which, he made the mistakes the other day, but yesterday, the team fell apart, literally. Well, maybe they didn't fall apart, but they just didn't have anyone to cool it down.
Yeah, this is the problem. I know they're young players, but I just, as soon as it went 2-1, I fully expect us to concede a second. I know the second goal was very lucky, but you just knew it was coming.
Yeah, but the second goal was from... it was Joel Cotterill gave a stupid free kick away on the edge of the box, which you don't do that in the 92nd or 93rd minute, whatever it was.
No.
But then there's no one there controlling the youngsters and calming them down and trying to get them through it. So I'm not criticizing the youngsters because everyone's going to make that mistake and they will again.
No. Yeah.
But where was the Cabango was captain? I'm not sure that was the right call. I'm not saying he's not going to be a future captain. But he's young. He's still young himself, isn't he? He's still, and he's his first game back after injury.
But I've got a question for you: who would you make captain?
I would have given it to Fulton. He captained the side last season at Brighton.
Fair.
So I thought that was a bit weird from the start. But I guess he's looking at future, isn't he? And he's had a year to work with them now. So, or maybe it was because of the pre-planned changes. He knew Fulton was coming off and Cabango wasn't.
Yeah, maybe
it would have been a case of Fulton comes off, gives the armband to Joe Allen or something.
Yeah, can we talk about that as well? He says he always says, "Oh, the substitutions were planned." It's how can you not manage a game as it's happening? Yeah, he said that quite a lot as well, that the substitutions are planned.
So
that's what I
said. They have
go on, Alan.
Ferrari. Do they have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Probably not, but because Ferrari still fuck up. But sorry, you're gonna have to bleep that, Luke. But
I'm not bleeping.
No, Alan. I lost my trail of thought now. Maybe it's a case of they're 2-0 up, let's just go with the pre-planned subs. Maybe it's a condition like, if we're
Yeah,
winning,
well, I think
these are the
it
subs we
probably
do.
was that, but then you need to open your eyes.
Yeah.
It was the second half didn't start well, which I guess like I said, you'd expect it. Oxford are not just going to roll over. Like, it's their third goal kills the game off. They just need to if they have a sniff for getting one goal back, it's game on. So they're obviously going to give it some and try. They've got nothing to lose. It's the cup. It's not like a league game, is it? It's a cup.
I was surprised he made so many changes, as many as he did. I expected to see a few players like Cullen and a few fringe players, but I didn't think he would completely overhaul the side. I thought he might just play a couple of first team players in there and bring them off afterwards.
So I wasn't too
just
surprised.
To get Saturday out the system.
Yeah. I wasn't too surprised with the starting lineup. But if he's playing that starting lineup, I thought there'd be more of him on the bench.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the starting lineup, you've got I know obviously he's been injured, but Cabango, he's a first team player. Yeah, you've got Darling was there, Manning was there, Latbodia was there in the back. Played back four, by the way. You've got Felton in the middle, and then Soranola was on one of the wings. So really, it was only Cullen, Congreave, Ogbeta, Ollie, Cooper, and Bender. So 5 that probably aren't going to be rotated in the first team at this point as much. I think maybe Congreave and Cullen and Cooper, probably the 3 that raised their hand the most. Cullen, I can't see ousting the other 2. He probably will keep his space on the bench as to come on sometimes. But Congreave and Cooper, I think, definitely we should look at them a bit more. But yeah, I wasn't so surprised at the starting lineup. But if you look at the bench,
it's all youngsters, pretty much.
I know Joe Allen's there as experience, because it's not going to make sense what I say when you see Joe Allen. But he's been crocked for however long, and it's his first game back at the club. Who's coming on off the bench to steady the ship? I get having youngsters on there to give them an opportunity if we're cruising, which is what often happens in the cup. But who on that bench is going to come and steady the ship? Nathan Wood, he's played in the first team a couple of games now, but he's young himself. He's a new signing still. Dan Williams didn't even get on because I think he's going to go on loan, but he's the one that you think in the midfield. He's played there before. He done well last season when he played in the cup. I thought he'd come on, but he didn't. Apparently he's going to go on loan, and that's the reason. Joel Cotterill obviously came on the wing, but debut. And Cham came on for Ryan Mann, who was playing left back. So I'm guessing Ogbeta must have dropped back to left back at that point. And Cham is not if things are going sour, Cham is not going to come into midfield and calm it down and control it. He just isn't. He hasn't done that once since he's been here. He's been hit and miss. He's not the one you trust. So that's a bit of a weird one for me. Joe Allen, you know why he's there. First game, get a bit of minutes, whatever. Then you had Azim Abdullah, who apparently came on and played out of position again. Like I said, another debut. Ben Lloyd and Joshua Thomas, who didn't get on the pitch. Why is there not 1 or 2 more first teamers there? So when it is going a bit wrong, you can steady it.
But you think they do that because usually they do. They bring them on with other players on the pitch to gain the experience of playing with them.
Yeah.
Whereas we were under the cosh, he chucked them all on, and then just said, "Yeah, go on, lads, finish it off."
Yeah, the 4 players that he took off. The 4 players he took off were Joe Latabodia, Harry Darling, Ryan Manning, and Jay Felton. 3 of the back 4, and one of the guy that's probably holding the midfield.
Yeah, that's not okay. You don't take 3 of your back 4 off anyway. In any game.
I just thought it was crazy, and then you get surprised when all of a sudden your rhythm, your momentum is gone. It's just madness. And I know he didn't just straight swap them, and he moved things around. I think Soranola and Ogbeta probably dropped back a bit, or I don't really fully know what he's done.
But exactly. That's just carnage, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's literally just chucked everybody on and just
playing them out of position completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's why
when you're winning as well.
That's why people were annoyed yesterday. The manner of the defeat. They were playing well first half, 2-0 up, great, good little cup run, come in, bit of confidence going into the weekend, and then 20 minutes to go, however long it was, just completely flipped the side on his head. That seems crazy to me.
because I think Congreave was started the game in central attacking midfielder. He got moved up to the right before Cotterill came on. Yeah, crazy. I don't really know how we lost that game, but it's quite funny because obviously we lost them last time, and Shelby was the one that was his last game for the Swans.
Yeah.
Now there's rumours and Cham's getting sniffed at, so maybe it's going to be in Cham this time.
Yeah, well, you don't even need to say anything else on Cham.
I just don't know what he does anymore, to be honest. I just don't really know what he offers.
Said this for ages. He doesn't do anything. He's got one trick in him, or one. Fair enough. He scored like one good goal last year. But apart from that, the one run down the wing against West Brom set up Rowe's goal. And apart from that,
but like, what is he? Is he a centre midfielder? Is he a central attack midfielder? Is he a winger? Because I just don't really know. There's never a situation where I really want him to come on more than someone else.
No.
Like the last 2 games, I'd rather the youngsters Cooper and Congreave come on, than him.
Quick Google search. At his time in Celtic for the 4 years, 87 appearances and 13 goals.
Yeah, he's not a goal machine, but that's not necessarily what we thought he was going to do. I just don't know what he does.
Supposedly he's a midfielder.
Yeah.
That could be, that could be.
I think they did say when he came, the Celtic fans, he's got talent, but not necessarily going to show it to you all the time.
I think he's more of an attacking midfielder, isn't he? He hasn't got that like
defensive
play in the centre midfield. I think he wants to play attacking midfield is probably his best position, but I think like probably Patterson and Perot playing there, he's not going to get a look in really.
Yeah. Well, I'll move on to my 3 words. To be honest, I'm going to have to change it because it's basically going to repeat everything we've spoken about already. So originally it was pressure is building, which I think I've already said. I think we're in a situation where all of a sudden the pressure, mostly, especially from the fan opinion, is well and truly there and building. But we've kind of hit the nail on the head on all that. So I'm going to change it slightly and say youth system continues, because I think we definitely need to see more of Cameron Congreave and Ollie Cooper this season. Ollie Cooper, especially yesterday, had us.
Sorry.
Apologies.
I tried to mute.
On Spotify or any other podcast service where you might have headphones in, because Alex just sneezed on the microphone. I can only apologise if there's damage to your drums or Yeah, he had an especially good game in centre midfield yesterday, Ollie Cooper, and I'm happy to see that. Like, he did really well. So obviously we're excited about Cameron Congreave and what he's had to offer. We've seen a bit more of him, but Cooper had a good year in Newport last year, and he's come and done a solid performance in the middle. And I'm wondering if like maybe that allows Cham to go, if maybe he can look at that and be like, he can cope at this level, he can get integrated into the team, and he can definitely offer something. But I would like to see more of him, especially.
I don't know if we will. I think he's just so stubborn with the way he sets his team up, and how he just like, apart minus the game yesterday, he's quite reluctant with his subs.
Yeah, he's been on the bench, and for like all the games. Both of them have.
And this is what I mean. I say, how many times I say this to you last year? Like, we're 2-0 down at home. Chuck Liam Cullen on as well. Chuck Congreave on. Chuck a few balls in the box. He seems to be quite lively. Just chuck them on. Just do something different when you've been going nowhere for 70 minutes in a game. Give these young players a game. Bring on Ollie Cooper. Just do it. Because even if you concede the third like we did anyway, you haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
That's just what I'd like to see. Just
fresh legs are better than tired legs.
Well, young legs are better as well, just because they want to come on and do something. 2-0 down, they'll be coming on to try and make something happen.
So the average squad age for the Oxford game, because you said he referred to the age, was 23.1.
It's not that young, is it?
Oxford's was 24.7. I mean,
it's not that young.
A year and a half less experience on average. It's not as like the way he was talking about it. He made out like it was a lot worse. But I think the point is, though, the experience got taken off, didn't it? So it wasn't a mix and match for the 90
Yeah.
minutes. It was kind of like all the experience and then
none of
and
the
leave.
experience.
Okay, we didn't discuss the Blackburn game in an awful lot of detail, so I just want to ask, was there any positives from what you saw?
No, nothing. Honestly, it was. Like I said, I think it was the worst game I've seen us play under Martin, and there's been some bad ones.
Nothing at all.
We had maybe two chances, maybe where Perot gets a touch on it and the keeper saves it, and then there's another one like second later where Obafemi's coming into the back post and nearly gets a foot on it.
Wasn't there one where Obafemi heads there and Lati was behind him in a better position as well?
Yeah, that was in the first half. But like literally struggling to pick out where we created anything. No pace, nothing. Just need to draw a line under that one.
Okay, so Latibodia playing right back, right wing back still. Why? Right back against Oxford. It wasn't even right wing back. It was right back.
I don't get it.
And we're sending Garrick out on loan.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Where is
Got Garrick was even at the club.
Sorinola. I thought he was a wing back.
Yeah, he's a wing back or winger, I think.
So, I guess maybe it's not that simple, but why isn't he playing wing back at all times?
Well, he played wing back in the first game, didn't he, on the left? And then he was subbed for Blackburn, and he came on for Latibodia, so I'm guessing he went to right wing back?
Yeah, but, you'd think by that, yeah.
So he's played both sides, and then he started against Oxford in the front three, on the right.
So, in other words, we don't know where he plays.
The hell?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say, where's Rashisha?
Yeah, well, yeah, we got a natural wing back there. The youngster still doesn't even get into the.
Another one. I
think last night though, why wasn't he there last night? We're playing all these youngsters.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, God knows. You had Ogbeta though, which I was surprised to see because I thought he was done.
I think he's. I think he's gonna. I think that was his last game. Yeah.
Stayed on for 90 minutes. Yeah, but anyway, back to the Blackburn game. No positives at all. And you're saying Felton had a bad game. Do you change anything then for Blackpool?
Well, I don't know if you can really. There's not really many sort of personnel you can change unless you play Sorinola on the right wing instead of Latibodia and start manning on the other side. Apart from that, there's not many personnel changes you can do. It's just the way that they move the ball. If they're going to persist with this passing football, it's got to be quicker. It's got to be better because same thing is going to happen Saturday. They're going to sit behind the ball for 90 minutes and wait for us to make a mistake.
There's no pace, and nobody wants to take on a player which you need. You need to make the mismatches and get in behind. And we get up there. Sometimes Patterson will have a go, or we're missing like a Led or a Christie, I think, on the right.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Led's available by all accounts. So I don't know how true this is, but Twitter's saying that Martin basically has just said he doesn't want loan signings anymore, which is why we've only got one. And I mean, overall, I agree with that principle, but if you can't get another sign-in and you've got options available to you on loan,
take them.
We need some support.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in that position. You can't, you're going to play a centre-back there all year.
Well, I was adamant going into this season that wouldn't happen after a transfer window in the summer.
Wouldn't be surprised if he starts there again on Saturday, to be honest.
Is he actually trying to morph Latibodia into a right back? He just doesn't have the natural ability going forward.
No, that's the only. To be fair, I don't feel a bit sorry for him because when they put Corey Smith there as well last season, he's solid. Well, actually, there was one game where Corey Smith played left wing back and run the show. I can't remember which game that was.
Yeah,
but it's the same. When he used to play in there a couple of times. it's so hard to be naturally good at being a winger when you've played like central midfield or centre back, to be able to run down the wing and take players on. He's solid and he's tidy on the ball and he does well defensively, but he's just not going to take players on where you need him to in that part of the pitch.
No.
And that is a big problem at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I just every time I see it there, like, because we're relying on it. That's what gives us the width, because Perot comes inside, Patterson comes inside, and there's no one else there out wide. So if Latabodia is not naturally going to look at these gaps and try and get into them, like, Led was raw talent in a way, but he used to try and get into the penalty box and take people on, and he never won a penalty. He probably should have, but that's just from him trying to take people on and get in behind.
You never see anyone do that
right now.
No.
And even on the other side, like Manning, he does offer something, perhaps a little bit more. He can cross the ball, I think, decently. But again, he's not the quickest, and he's not going to run in behind that much, I don't think.
No.
I mean, a 1-2 maybe, but not taking someone on. I'm not sure where we are as a squad right now, and if we're actually better or worse than we were last year.
Yeah, this is it. Well, I think from last year we've only lost Downs for Allen. Just not so bad.
Players though, isn't it? It's Wolf and Christie, who haven't really been replaced. And
that's where we're missing.
You could go back further and ask why Bidwell was let go.
Oh yeah, that was a strange one.
Definitely take Bidwell over Manning.
I'm not saying necessarily there's a massive gulf between Bidwell and Manning, but we're just in a weird situation with full backs who wouldn't need to have both of them.
But I also feel like Bidwell was that entire conversation you just had. I feel like Bidwell did make an effort to take people on, even if he did lose the ball more than Manning.
Stop running either, and he would put a tackle in.
Yeah, exactly.
And Luke has a hatred for Ryan Manning.
I don't have a hatred for him. I just point out some of his mistakes, which people like to point out for other players. So I think it's fair cop. I think he's quite a liability, and he often gives. I think if there was a chart, if we had a league table of how many player mistakes lead to goals, he's top.
Probably. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I think that should be called out. I know you're typing away that, Alex. I don't think you're going to find that league table.
I'm going to try.
We'll have to start our own tally.
Yeah.
All player errors. Hang on.
Guess who got
have
something as well in that game, the Blackburn game.
Oh, Hedges.
Yeah, Hedges got assist for the first goal.
He's the one that dispossesses Fulton's knee
and the second goal.
Inside. Lovely. Does he play that ball for the second goal? Because that was an absolute peach, and that finish from Diaz was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was a lovely goal.
Hedges got the assist for the second goal.
That was a lovely goal. That was.
That's one, right? He didn't really ever feature in our first team, did he, Ryan Hedges? It's crazy how these players sometimes fall out of your academy to nothing, and then come back in a way like he's considered quite a good player. He's starting for Blackburn as a number 10, yeah? Quite creative player. Quite interested.
Yeah, I think sometimes players just need like a fresh start. Maybe just a bit of a new scenery, new coaches, because I do find that happens quite a lot. That teams get release players and then they come back sort of another time. And
Guion Edwards as well, isn't he? I think he's done quite similar.
Yeah.
We've got Josh Sheehan doing all right as well in lower leagues. I'm surprised. He was with Newport for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think there's a Bolton now, is he? I'm not sure.
He did get a transfer. And we did some memory Mondays this week as well. Alan Tate, obviously. We did Renato Sanchez after talking about his move to PSG last week. But the main one, I think, was a good memory to look at was the Liam Shepherd, obviously, because he played in the last game at Oxford, where we lost 3-2, sorry. It was his only first-team appearance, I believe. And he's now at Newport as well. Or has he gone to Salford, maybe? Might have just moved. I think.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, he went down there and he's obviously playing as well. I think he did right in that game, actually, considering. But then I watched the highlights back the other day and he was kind of a bit rubbish for 2 of their goals. So, however, our first goal in that game was really good. Do you remember that one?
Is it Montero?
Yeah. With
I remember
like,
him scoring.
Jimenez, they'll back heel to him.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Oh.
I remember that.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it might have been Gomez.
Obviously, they had the same hairstyle and all that. They both started. They both started on that day. I think it was Jimenez. But yeah, that was a really good goal. But then, yeah, Matt Grimes was in that team.
Yeah.
And Felton was on the bench.
And those are the only ones left.
Yeah. I think actually is the only ones left. Okay, let's look ahead to Blackpool before we finish up. Can you see? I know he's stubborn. I know he doesn't like making many changes, but surely he needs to look at something. He did make some changes actually for the Blackburn game. So Manning came in, didn't he? And then Cham came in for Patterson.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
Yeah.
No, I think Patterson starts again, unless he's at a niggle, and that's why he dropped him. I think he brought him on quite early.
You brought him on in 52nd minute.
Yeah, so I think Patterson comes back in. It'll be Fulton and Grimes, and it just depends whether he plays Latbodia right wing back and plays Sorinola on the left, or plays Sorinola right and Manning left back. I think that's the only sort of positions that he'll tinker with. I think because I think Cabango probably won't start after playing 90. I don't think Joe Allen's ready to start a league game yet either. So I don't think there'll be any changes.
No, he was quite poor, I think, last night, by all accounts. But do you think any of the youngsters put their hands up then to maybe put themselves into contention?
I guess it's only Congreave and Cooper, like you said. I think they're the only ones that are really going to break into this team this year. I can't see anyone else making an appearance.
Alid, like you saw the miss from Obafemi against Rotherham, and he's not really did great in the game either. Does Cullen? Do you just bring Cullen in and like say, look, you're not guaranteed to start?
Does that completely knock Obafemi though? In terms of confidence, taking him out of the team, does it? At least he's getting into the positions and he's not taking the chances, which is what we need. But is he still building confidence from?
Yeah, but then why should
you
be loyal to players not performing just because you're scared of their confidence when you've got others on the bench waiting who aren't getting a chance?
Could we drop Obafemi entirely, play Perot there, and bring in Patterson and I don't know, leave Encham inside maybe?
I think I'd rather Obafemi just carry on playing.
But he has these options. He has these options. Like, all right, maybe put Perot up front and then bring
Congreave,
I don't know,
maybe.
bring Congreave on or something.
I mean, I think one of you said this. You haven't really seen much of Perot, and I agree. I feel I don't know. At some point last season,
yeah, we are seeing him. He has to come really, really deep now to get his hands on the ball or feet on the ball.
We're not seeing him in a place where he can score a goal because he's not getting the ball.
No.
But if we swap him with Obafemi and put someone else in that stays wide, I'm trying to think who that could be. Cullen maybe, but
I just don't think he sets the team up for those positions to stay wide. He relies on the wing backs for it, and we've already discussed.
We don't have the wing backs for that.
Yeah. They're kind of inside forwards. They are to complement whoever's playing in the middle.
Yeah,
but I think I'm just wondering how long do the players who were in the first team have to not perform before he does change somewhat, because you can't just keep kind of rewarding them for bad performances. And if you're serious about getting serious, like he's saying in his interview, sink or swim. Cullen did score a goal against Oxford. I'm not saying he has to be the long term, like stay in there and he's going to be the answer to all the problems. But like Lee, do you think just taking Obafemi out, Cullen's in, you performed, you haven't?
I don't think he will. I don't think he will yet. I mean, he could, and I'd like to see him bring Cullen on. I think if he'll start with what he's had so far, and I think if like Obafemi's not performing again, he's got to bring Cullen on like 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and be like, look, you haven't performed now in 3 games. Cullen scored a goal, put him on, just to keep people honest, because you don't want to have, like you said, when people are just guaranteed to play every week.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the criticism, that he doesn't change much in a game where we're struggling. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see him do that. Like you're not doing anything in this game.
So obviously I've just caught up with someone from a Blackpool podcast. A couple of interesting points for their team. Reece Williams.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Goal.
Starting centre back, but he thinks he's started quite well for them, so suits the system perhaps a bit better. One point that we should look to exploit: their midfield 3 that's likely to start are all basically teenagers or very, very young 20s. Not much experience at all. On loan, I think one of them from Man City, one from Liverpool, or maybe not Liverpool, I can't remember. But there's Arsenal it was. The young, not much experience. And he said they're quite technical and lightweight and can easily be pushed off the ball. I was like, well, you're not going to have a problem then, because we don't really do that. We're doing that ourselves, and then like Grimes ain't going to do it. I mean, Felton maybe gets stuck in a bit, but that's what he was concerned about a little bit, is getting overrun in midfield. So I'd expect Grimes to take control, but we do that anyway, don't we? We know we'll take control of the midfield. The other one that he said in terms of whose key player is Josh Bowler, who is their right winger. He said
he played well against us.
Days. Yeah,
he played well against us last year up there. Yeah, it's quite a good game.
So he said that's their main threat, main source of goals. Only player who really thinks is going to create something for him, and he will dribble at anyone, and just like most of the time win the dribble, which doesn't fill me with confidence, because he's going to be up against Manning, likely. I think I might have said Latibodia in the preview, which my mistake. It wouldn't be Latibodia, it'd be Manning or Sorinola. No, I'm a bit nervous about that. If he's going to be, really good at dribbling and attacking, and that's where all our threats coming from. It's going to be a bit of a task, I think, over on the left-hand side for us.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a worrying one, because I think it could, we could easily turn up there and win 3-0, and then we could also lose 3-0. And just, can you imagine? It would just be uproar if we got a good beating.
Another 3-0 is very damaging.
Yeah,
I think, and I'll be interested to see what he's got to say after it, because I just don't know what he can say. Like at that point,
look,
what's he going to blame?
I don't know, but we and this is no it's no disrespect to Blackpool, but we should be beating Blackpool. I think, like you said, they've got loan players there and youngsters. The people saying Martin hasn't been backed. He's been backed more than clubs like Blackpool. So
well, he's quite happy with their signings, but the main thing for Blackpool is the manager left quite late in the day in pre-season to go to be an assistant manager at Aston Villa. So they've got Michael Appleton in now, and now they're only just starting to bring in players this transfer window, because he's obviously had to go over there, adapt, and
like us last year.
Yeah, but a little bit more time than us last year, to be fair. But that's where they are. So yeah, you're right. If we're in our second year and they are us last year, then we should win. Like you're fair to expect that. And you could look at the betting on the relegation, and Blackpool plummeted after the managerial change to the fact that they've been tipped to go down now. A lot of people changed their expectations of like a solid mid-table, upper table finish to relegation after that. So they have had a tricky summer. We should be exploiting at this stage of where we are, but we're not confident of that happening, which is a shame.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I did say draw for the first game, and I did fancy us to lose in the second game, so I'm on a roll at the moment.
What's your third one?
I'm going to say 0-0.
he did say to me as well, he's like, either way, whatever happens, I'm sure one of our sets of fans is going to come away a little bit happier. I was like, I don't know, it could be a 0-0 and we're both moaning about it at the end.
I fancy a 0-0.
So what do you reckon, Alid?
I don't know.
I heard Blackpool illuminations are nice this time of year.
But yeah, it'll be a cracking weekend if the weather stays like this. So
Yeah.
Gutted I'm not going.
You need to say a score, Alid.
No, I'm just thinking. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say he might turn it around. I'll go with a 1-0 win, just to. I don't know.
I'll take that.
Be
take
promising.
That as well. I'm gonna say 1-1. We're gonna draw, and people are still gonna not be happy, which probably fair enough. But I think that's.
But then a draw away, you generally speaking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really
maybe
complain.
they score like a 92nd minute equaliser or something, and we're crying about it.
Just
yeah,
like
but those defeats. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, like Oxford did. Those defeats absolutely suck, especially when you've grinded it out from like an early goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you conceded
What
the 90
was you going to
second.
say, Lee, in terms of like?
I was going to say, like, if you've played well and it's 1-0 and you've lost and you've like conceded a late winner, or you've lost like 1-0 and you've played really well, you kind of think, that's just really annoying. You don't really get annoyed with the performance. You're just really annoyed because you didn't win the game.
Usually, but in a situation we are now where theme is not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like normally, that's okay, but to throw away leads now and to lose 3-0 or 4-0 or like 5-1, sometimes we've lost. That's just, you can't accept it.
It's like we need to get the first goal. Sometimes we'll. Sometimes we won't. But if they get the first goal, we get drubbed.
Yeah.
Kind of how it works at the moment.
That's kind of the thing.
Anything else then before we head off? You said you wanted to talk about something.
Who, me?
Yeah, you said something about the match day experience.
Oh yeah, I was going to say about that. Before I say that, I was just going to say that we're in that position again now where the fans get divided. Where like if you criticise Russell Martin, it's like, oh my god, you can't. Oh what? You can't say that. Oh my god, how can you criticise him? Oh never. Oh my god. But it's like, no, you can criticise him because we're playing dog shit. So I think like criticism is fair. But then other people then just keep saying, oh, what are you on about? You can't criticise. Get behind the boys. Come on, woohoo. It's like, no, when we're absolutely awful, it's okay to criticise them.
I've seen a lot less of that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like the thing I said, like, we were never really Cooper out, were we? We were like fine with getting to the playoffs twice, even though it was disappointing not to go up. We were happy to carry on. We were never Cooper out. We did acknowledge some of the football towards the end of his last season wasn't great, but we were never Cooper out. And then also, when he did go, and when you got Russell Martin, who's going to play his different style, we were always like, right, let's go and give him time and let's see what he can do. And I just want to say, like, going back a year from now, because it would still be before Martin was appointed, so many people hated Cooper's style, wanted him gone, wanted the Swansea way, and they were all saying things like, we don't even have to finish in the playoffs. We don't even need to win all the games. I would take less wins just to have better performances, more possession, Swansea way. Now look at Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the cycle.
And
that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, and just by criticizing him, it's not saying you want him sacked. Because I'm not saying to sack him at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I was criticizing him last year for some things, and it hasn't improved.
So what's the match day experience you want to talk about?
Oh, it wasn't really that much, but it was just £5.20 a pint now in the stadium. £5.20 a pint in the stadium now for a flat pint.
Well, inflation, mate.
Oh, it's ridiculous, though.
£5
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was thinking of that the other day. I remember when, like, I was 18, and it was kind of like $3.50 was the standard for a pint. But I think, and now then it was kind of like, £4 pints were a bit hard to stomach. But now, like, I think the £5 pint is going. I think you see more and more sixes now.
Even in town?
Yeah, I think you just see a lot more. Well, you see a lot more 5.85s.
Yeah, you're up somewhere else, though, when you say, I can imagine you do see.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. The £5 pint is going now.
No, I do agree with you, but I think partly the pint problem, the price of the pint problem, is like they were all closed for a long time in all the bars for COVID. They probably got a lot of money paying back, so probably
but
gone up a little bit quicker than it should.
on the going back to the match day though, what I meant was I was in I always go to the like Riverside Lounge, quite good, and it's £4.50 a pint until 2:30. So that's not so bad. But when you go down half time now, there's like they haven't got any food ready or any drinks ready. So you go down at half time and people queue, and then they start making food and making beer. They should just be ready to go, but they just think they don't want to lose those like 4 pints if they got to chuck them away.
Was this just first game like being not ready for it, or
I don't know. I was speaking to a guy actually on the concourse. It was quite nice. He was Scottish and he'd lived in Swansea for about 8 years. I think he used to have a season ticket at Rangers, and he was absolutely fuming.
Yeah, well, the food I had when I went down with Chris last year sometime, and he had a chicken burger where there's the saddest piece of lettuce I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. You're not paying. Yeah, sorry. You're not paying like. Yeah, I'm just allergic to the lettuce. But yeah, it's like you're paying like £10 for a burger, and it's like just crap.
I saw though there was one club, I can't remember what club it was in the Premier League, was charging like £7.50.
Oh, West Ham.
What was it?
West Ham was an absolute joke. It was like like £7.
Stupid money.
That's ridiculous.
They're charging like £7 for an alcohol free beer.
It's crazy. Where's it going to stop? Like the money situation. Yeah, that's a podcast in itself.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, let's call it there, because I think if I go down that route, I'll be talking about the fact I couldn't watch the game yesterday and the money side from there or whatever. It just does my head in.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for both coming on to this very positive, very upbeat, not miserable at all episode. Probably all sound like so.
Up the Swans.
Well, we haven't had anything to shout about yet, but hopefully on the weekend we always turn up on a Saturday. We hope.
Let's hope the players do too.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Don't forget, as always, let us know in the comments below what you think. Give us your 3-word week review for the Swans week, and how you think things are going, or your views on maybe Kyle Joseph, who we didn't mention, and Jordan Garrick looking like they're heading out. Could we make use of them? And maybe some of the players that aren't performing here. Let us know in the comments. Give a like to the video if you enjoyed what you listened to and watched. And don't forget to subscribe, as always, to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 500, and we're going to do a giveaway of a kit when we get there. So we really appreciate the support, and we shall see you in the next video.
Bye.
Cheerio.